Hello everyone. Hi.
Hi!
Ciao ragazzi. Ciao a tutti.
Ciao a tutti.
How are you? We are thrilled and I hope you are as well. I hope you are ready for a reveal that we have waited now today 5 years.
Fine.
5 long years. To finally reveal to you all. So, hi everyone. Hi Gaia, Claudio, and Michael. Hi Marcus, Chloe, and
Richard,
Katerina, Richard. Um, Hi Pete. Um,
we are excited as well to finally be here in this fateful day, 21st of October, to do with you right now live the history of household. But let's arrive there.
yeah. So first of all, if you don't know, Household Volume 1, the purple one, first came out in Italy in 2019. It was our first game ever. It was very different from the Household that you know. The system was slightly different. Was a prototype. The art was different, and since then, Household Volume One won Game of the Year in Italy, and it grew and it kept growing and growing, and now we are here. We are doing this full time, but everything started from Household.
Yes, that
And
very lonely book, Household Volume 1, was published in Italy alone. It was followed after 6 months by the Saga of Fragile Peace, and the year after, during the pandemic, actually, so it was not very easy to actually publish those to the Guide of the Practical House. That then, a couple of years later, we put everything together and we redid the system, used all our experience. We retook, remade the layout from scratch, more or less. A lot of work over there, more than a year of work. And of course, the amazing work of all the artwork someone was taken and very much improved, a lot of new stuff added, and then this new very purple and gold edition that you can all find here was born this way. But as you all know, as you all love, Household has a story, a chronology, and the volume 1 ends with a big cliffhanger. I don't know how it's called in English, sorry.
here.
Um, about the identity of a littling. That was the first one, the very first one. Yes.
Italian edition of. This is already a reprint, so this is already
Yes.
not the
I
very
have the
first.
original one, or I have the reprint as well. I don't know.
It was
I have the
very
reprint as well with the
different.
Game of the Year logo.
Even the art, it was. You can see here a very different Dimitri. This was the
Yes.
first time that we were all working together. It was a really fun project, and I'm so happy that it grew as it grew. And yes, the first Household ended with a cliffhanger, with basically all the events, because Household, as we always say, is also a chronological setting. So basically, as you grow up, as you level up in the game, you are also moving forward in the Household history. And the first book ended with this big cliffhanger. There was an attack to a very important city in the Household, an attack at the realm of the fairies, which was unprecedented, because the realm of the fairies in Household, as many of you know, it's inside the dining room, and the dining room has only one door, and this door is just slightly open, and there is so a very narrow
Passage
space.
near the city of Laruelle. How's it called? So it's very easy to defend. But they didn't think about another possible entry point, which was the exact same entry point that Oberon Trismegistus, with the first fairies, used to enter in the house. I'm talking, of course, about the great window that was shattered by the fall of the Dronos, the tree, once the home of all the Fae. And so the Fae entered the house over there. And they rebuilt it, of course, part of the great window using sugar and other things to make all these colorful pictures of all the history. But yes, they did not certainly expect to be attacked from there.
So today is a very important day for us because we're finally going to give a little bit of closure to this cliffhanger by revealing who is the one who attacked this city. But first things first, if you don't know anything about Household, please know Household is a game about little people living in this huge abandoned house, and it's there's already one book, the purple one, out, and we are about to take to crowdfunding a second box of books, which is called Volume 2, that will bring our game to the garden of the house.
Yes.
You can already find a quick start on Drive-Thru RPG, and soon enough, I believe this week or next, we will also share a new document about the garden, a free PDF about the garden. Household, sorry, talking about the household history, as Simone was saying, circa 75 years before the beginning of Household, of the game that you are going to play, a tree fell on the house, smashing the window of the dining room. This tree was Dendronaos, or as they call them, the temple tree, and the temple tree was the ancient home of the fairies. So basically, that's how fairies came inside the house, or at least that's the history that we've known until today. So the tree fell on the house, the window of the dining room smashed, and Oberon Trismegistus, the Tsar of the fairy, led this exodus of fairies from the garden to the inside of the house, and that's how the fairies get inside the house, and the fairies then conquer the dining room, made an alliance with the sprite, and then basically became the new owners of the house. Basically, the fairies are the most powerful empire inside the house. Now, 75 years later, Household Volume 1 started. There is 5 years span that you can play inside Household, and after 5 years of playing inside the Household and playing all the historical events, there is an attack to the city of Faeriyev. Now, Faeriyev is the city on just inside the Great Windows. So you imagine there is this huge dining room, and that same windows, as Simone was saying, that same windows that was crashed by the fall of the tree, of the temple tree, was basically rebuilt with sugar by the fairies. And on the, I don't know what it's called, on the
Window shelf, window.
yeah, on that shelf, beneath the window,
Yes.
there
I'm
is a
sorry.
city.
The windowsill. I don't know.
Windowsill. Yeah, thank you, Katerina. And they built a city called Faeriyev. And now an army from outside have smashed this window once again, the sugar window. Sorry. They smashed this sugar window, and they've attacked Faeriyev, causing what we today know as the fall of Faeriyev. Now, until today, the only thing that we know is that a mysterious littling was the one leading the army from the outside to conquer Faeriyev. Today we are going to reveal who is this mysterious littling, and we are also going to show you my favorite, most favorite artwork of household yet. So, yeah, there was an ambulance outside, sorry. I live near an hospital, unfortunately, for these live streams. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to read you, and you will have to excuse our English, but we'll try our best to read you the last page of Household Volume 1 history, so that you know where we left, and then we're going to read you the first page of the Household Volume 2 history, so that you will find out what happened and what will happen in Household Volume 2. So please bear with us as we read the story to you, and then we'll show you some cool artwork and discuss about the future of Household. So, first things first, let me just switch to a darker background, and here is the fall of Faeriyev. As you can see, this is the artwork from Household Volume 1, from, I believe, from the saga of Fragile Peace, where you can see many Littlings that you already know about fighting for Faeriyev, the army of the so-called Wild Fae. So, while you take a look at this marvelous artwork, most of you already know this artwork, but it's still we're always proud to show. Simone will read us the last page from the Household history of Household Volume 1.
So, thank you for being with us. Please have patience with our level of reading in English, but let's read the epilogue of Household Volume 1. Epilogue, October 21st, year 10. With the Golden Backs recalled from their post in the household and deployed in the heart to search for the Tristart, the realm's defenses were greatly weakened. In a moment of great chaos, the Tsarina, Arcadia Voronovna, had to face yet another threat to the safety of her bright nation. The epilogue of this volume begins on October 21st of year 10, when the entire realm was shaken by an unbelievable crash. The glass of the great window was suddenly shattered, and a swarm of wild fairies overran the city on the windowsill, destroying everything in their path and marking the fall of Faeriyev. The fae from the household that lived for almost a century in the wounded stump of their ancient home, the Dendronaus tree, and were now suddenly coming to attack their own folk. The strongest of them wore hunting trophies, like pieces of feathers and squirrel claws, and even macabre helmets that look like sparrow skulls. Not even the great imperial army could stand their ground against such ruthless invaders. Soon enough, the city was conquered and nearly wiped out. Even the Duke of the Window, Alexei Pukevich, who was one of the greatest duelists in all the house, was easily defeated and taken prisoner. Only after 3 days did a group of valiant Littlings, unknown to these days, manage to sneak into the city, facing epic battles and adventures untold to find a way to free the Duke and bring him back to Highlight alive. The tragic event on Faeriyev shook the entire household, uncovering a terrible truth. The commander of the invading army was an ancient imperial fairy presumed dead many years ago, a Littling who would single-handedly bring nation to their knees. You know who I am talking about, but would you look at the time? It seems like the pages of this volume are running out. There is yet so much to tell and explain in this book, and I'm afraid I really have no room left to tell you the end of this story, as it would inevitably lead to another, and then the next. And my editor, they gave me a strict limit on the number of pages. I guess I'll have to tell you the rest of the story in the next volume, if my poor old boggart hands ever manage to write it. now excuse me, my sweet partner, said that dinner is turning cold and she calls me back to my husbandly duties. Please, don't fret too much. After all, stories are what happens when we aren't busy telling them.
So this was the end of Household Volume 1.
All the information we had up until now about what actually happened in the fall, during the fall of Faeriyev.
Now,
mean,
many
some
of
of
you,
you-
especially in English, you probably read this 1 year ago, tops, 1 year ago. But for the Italian audience, per tutti gli italiani che ci stanno ascoltando, this was 5 years ago. So,
Sì.
come sapete, italiani, 5 anni che aspettiamo questo momento di poter rivelare che cosa è successo veramente a Faeriyev. So it's been a long wait. Before we go to the reveal, to today's reveal, I wanted to show you one of the things that I like most about Household. This is a comparison between how the wild fairies, which now we call the Fae, have been portrayed in Household Volume 1 and Household Volume 2. This is something that I always like to stress, that Household is a history book, and everything you read and see inside Household is not 100% true. It's a rendition made by certain people in certain eras. So as you can see, on the left we have the wild fairies as they were portrayed by the people inside the house when they first attacked the house. On the right we have probably a more realistic look of this fae, of how they are and how they appear, now that we get to know them as a playable folk and not like some kind of threat to the stability of the house. Yes, not only the Italian audience is playing this real time, but we were lucky enough to be able to make this reveal on the 21st of October, which is the actual day of the fall of Faeriyev. So very, very excited to be doing this on October 21st. But I really like to see how things have changed, also how the style, Daniela's styles has improved over the years. So,
I mean, Rico, I think it's finally time. Thank you for being here today, right now with us. We have reached 50 audience together right now. It's time for the first part of this big reveal. The first part, as we said, is to show that we talk and that we will read also some of the history of Volume 2.
Before I show you the full artwork, I will just show you a close-up that you have already seen. She's the one portrayed here. She's Morgana Astralta, and Morgana Astralta is one of the imperial fae. So this particular fairies who have butterfly wings and are more long-lived.
Live longer.
Yeah, they live longer.
Like 10 times your standard fae.
And Morgana Astralta was first presented in, I believe in the Practical Guide to Living Inside the House. We never had a chance to see her, but the book talks about her. And what we know about Morgana Astralta is that she was an imperial fae, and she entered the house with Oberon, but her ultimately decided to leave the house and was left for dead. They decided that she couldn't survive outside alone, so she was probably already dead. So many, especially in the Italian audience, many people believed that Morgana Astralta was in fact the true leader of the Fae army. And we already know from a saga of the Fragile Piece that her brother, her older brother, Orion Astralta, was also involved in the fall of Faeriyev. But none of them was the actual Imperial Fae behind the attack. They were only leaders of the army, and especially Morgana Stralta was the general of the Nova Scorpio Legion of the Wild Fae, so of the special forces of the Wild Fae, if you want. Yeah. Yes, Morgana is rather I believe it's a rather scary character.
Yes.
Is much different than many people. I don't know about you, if you know about Morgana, but people have always portrayed her very differently. She's a typical Fae from the outside, so she's darker in hair and eye color. She's taller than a normal fairy, sturdier, and she has these marvelous purple wings, which are part of the reason for why fairies refer to Morgana Stralta as the Amethyst Fury. And here you can see Morgana Stralta in the act of giving the pin, the sword of Duke Alexei Bukevich of the Great Window to the real leader of the Fae army. So, yeah. What you say, Simone? It's time to show the final artwork.
It's time.
We will show you the art, and then
Let's
we will
start with the artwork and let's chat after. Drum roll. Oh.
And here she is. The Holy Empress of the Fae Nation and of the Fae Army. And my favorite piece of household art yet. I believe, before saying anything, I believe that you can notice, the first thing that you can notice is that there is a strong similarity between this character and another beloved household character. They are already bending the knees.
A lot of people already pledging allegiance.
Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on the Morning Star or the Evergreen.
Like all the Imperial Fae, they are very humble with the title.
The Evergreen, protector of the garden, Titania Lightart, who is the wife of the dearly departed Oberon Trismegistus and the mother of the Tsarina Arcadia Oberonovna. So yes, she's the...
Dico un attimo per gli italiani, per quanto penso sia abbastanza chiaro, abbiamo finalmente rivelato chi si cela dietro l'attacco a Faeriyev dell'anno 10-21 ottobre ed è niente poco di meno che Titania, madre di Arcadia, moglie di Oberon, presunta morta durante la caduta dell'albero di Dendronos. Ma così, chiaramente, non solo è viva, ma ha ancora una presenza del tutto regale. Come vedete si è aggiudicata i servizi e quindi l'onestà di Morgana Stralta, che ha rifuggita a Oberon, ha trovato Titania e in qualche modo ha messo su un esercito temibile usando i Fae che vivono all'esterno.
So, yeah. Contento finalmente di farvi vedere Titania, bianca luce, la sempreverde, la stella del mattino, protettrice del giardino, cioè personaggio...
Come diciamo, un conto è chiamarsi protettore della casa, un conto è essere protettore del giardino, è tutt'altro, come dire, grande magnitudine. It's a mother-daughter conflict, yes, Seth, it's of course a mother-daughter conflict.
This is as we said, we've said it before, but now I think you can see it being shaped a little bit clearer. Household Volume 1 was all about power. All the stories inside Household revolved around the concept of power. Household Volume 2 is all about duty, what people must do for themselves or for the greater good. And this time, Arcadia will have to face her own mother. And this will start a little crack in the crystal throne of the fairies, because yeah, you know, it's complicated, and you will see that the history of the fairies and the history of Oberon Trismegistus, they were written by Oberon, so you know, you will see that it's a little bit different than what you would expect. Difficile che sia simpatica come il marito. So,
ma è un tipetto anche lei, come dire, è un tipetto.
I will try my best to read you a passage from Household Volume 2. This passage, you will also find it in the free PDF of an introduction to the garden. So in the next days, you will be able to read it yourself, probably better than me. But this will give you some, you know, context about what's going on.
Yes, Richard, you will find the answer to your questions in the introduction to the garden. I can promise you that.
So, where did we leave off? The fragile peace came to a sudden dissolution due to the invasion of the Fae from the garden, when the winged forces from the fallen tree crashed through the panes of the dining hall, marking the fall of Faeriyev and landing the first bitter blow at the very heart of the realm of household fairies. At the end of this army of so-called wild Fae, there was a fairy of imperial blood whom everyone in the house believed to have been dead for decades, Titania Lydart, mother of the Empress Regent. News about the fall of Faeriyev and the fact that the Duke Alexei Pukevich was forced to a shameful retreat shook the house to its core. Moreover, news of Titania Lydart's return left the Crystal Throne undeniably fractured, because for the first time in history, friends and foes of the crown had a reason to seriously doubt the legitimacy of the rule of Arcadia Oberonovna, whose very name was a stark reminder of her father's ignominious history. Like puddles and damp after autumn rain, rumors spread throughout every room about how the Fae betrayers, Oberon, the false emperor, had taken advantage of the fall of the temple tree to usurp the power of that rightfully belonged to his wife, Titania, after she had led her folk with love and fairness for long decades. But the holy Empress, Titania Lydart, did not fall with the tree, because her body was preserved by destiny, encased in the crystal embrace of a single drop of resin, protected from the passage of time and seasons by the final tear of Dendronaos, until the day when the general of the rebel legion Nova Scorpio, Morgana Astralta, finally brought her back to light.
So, a lot of info. Thank you, Gaia. Grazie, Gaia.
Grazie.
Grazie, Chiara, anche. So, a lot of new information may arise all just from this first half page. Rest and yes, engage the resin. That's exactly. We learn about two main things. One, how Titania did actually survive, as Pete was underlined. He was encased in the resin, the last tier of the Dendronos. Of course, Rico spelled it correctly because it's Greek. I am more a Latin guy, so I pronounce it differently. But that's on me. So she was trapped inside this huge, for her, drop of resin that keeps still until she was saved and brought back to life and to light, just to see most of her folk shattered and her late husband, late death, of course. And we also, most importantly, learn a very new, very interesting fact. That is, Oberon was never the actual ruler of the Fae folk. It was, in fact, Titania, the rightful ruler, and let's say probably Oberon twisted the truth a little bit after his wife was presumed dead. That's a very interesting point, as Rico said. The initial crack on the Crystal Throne, the fact that Arcadia, since he inherited the power from father, someone could start doubting her rule as a Tsarina of the Fae and as regent Empress regent of the house. So that's the starting point of all the changes, political changes, and all the awesome adventure that you will have the chance to live in Volume 2.
And also now you can understand our first post on social media about Household Volume 2 when we said that Arcadia must marry. Because now that people start to question Arcadia's power because her father is not the rightful ruler of the fairies, that means that Arcadia will have to prove, that she is fit for the throne, and what better things to do?
What's better than a royal wedding?
So at least there is
the
two
voices of the census amongst folk. So yes.
So
strange things are happening both inside and outside the house. Of course, our focus in all your adventures for 2 would be on the outside, because a lot of action would take place there, as you will see. But yes, the situation inside is not very easy at all. Should be the talk of it.
And yes, we'll see what's going to happen, but a lot of stuff for today, I'd say. Also, we have a first look on 2 Imperial fairies, 2 of the now. How many Imperial fairies are there? There's the 4 Dukes, there's Arcadia, and now these 2. So we are at 7 Imperial fairies inside and outside of the house that we know of.
It was 8, I think, but I presume the brother of Morgana Startra, Orion, did not survive. I don't know if he survived, actually, the fall of Faeriyev. I mean, it depends on your saga, probably, or how you like to depict the last battle, but it's not very plausible.
And
is Duke Alexei married? Actually, no, it's not married, but the situation is not easy. We will have a lot of time to discuss about who should marry who and why.
Yeah, it's a complicated matter, when it comes to Imperial fairies, because we have young Robin Fleur Blanche, who is actually the owner of the piano, and so he controls the frontier, and now the frontier is much more important. There's also Victor von Glansburg, who controls the army, basically, but he is also married. He's also old.
But he has a son, but the son is not of an imperial. So it's very difficult.
We got mixed feelings about if he's an imperial fae or not. So we said before that we will release a free PDF called An Introduction to the Garden, and that will contain everything that we've talked about today. We wanted to actually release this PDF today, but we couldn't manage due to some personal stuff that we had to do. We will release it soon enough, I believe, by the end of the week's tops. Next Monday top, we will definitely release it in the next 7 days, and you're going to receive an email. It's going to be free on Drive-Thru RPG, both in Italian and in English. So everything that we'll say will be
Yes, we are writing War and Peace of the Dead. I think it was pretty obvious, but yes, you have now you can confirm that we are exactly doing that.
Sì, postiamo appena chiuso, postiamo anche l'artwork su internet, su Facebook, così lo potete vedere un po' più in grande, un po' più in
Avevo dato le tante prima qui per voi che ci seguite in live, sapete che vi vogliamo bene.
And this art, it's not a normal artwork, because this is also the cover art from
Yes.
For a yet to be revealed content that will be inside this beautiful green box here. So you will find 2 books plus something else that will have this as its cover, but we are not ready to discuss about that. We'll see you. We have almost 4 weeks to go.
29 more days, I think, more or less.
Until the 19th of November. And also on the 7th of November, it is my birthday, and on the 17th is Simone's birthday, so we have a lot of things to do, you know, to celebrate before the start. So get ready, because we will have a lot of surprises, and we'll possibly have a little party together.
Yes, Andrea, it's time to put the old band back together for the new campaign.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for being so, you know, supportive, and thanks for more than 50 of you who are here right now, despite the early hour. We're always thrilled to share this adventure with you, this history that we are building just right now with you, and just wait to see what's coming next, because this week we are also not only we are going to show you this beautiful artwork today, but in the next day we are going to reveal a new animal companion for the animal handler, and it's going to be tough, because it's going to be possibly a fan favorite. It's my favorite already. So 1 new animal for your animal handler, and we are also going to finally show you the hereditary contract for the bar guest, and it will blow your mind possibly. So get ready for at least a couple more reveals during the week.
Very interesting reveal this week.
We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for being with us. And
ciao a tutti gli italiani, tantissimi che ci state seguendo. Speriamo che questo reveal finalmente abbia risposto a alcune delle vostre domande. Abbiamo ancora tantissimo da rivelare prima dell'inizio del crowdfunding, che lo ricordiamo sarà il 19 novembre, quindi tra più 29 giorni, credo, esattamente. Grazie per seguirci sempre, e rilasceremo, come detto Rico, il PDF dell'introduzione al giardino probabilmente per la fine di questa settimana, al massimo lunedì prossimo, ma abbiamo leggermente rimandato, giusto per fare spazio a tutte le robe che stiamo facendo, detto fuori dai denti, e sarà rilasciato sia in inglese che in italiano, quindi state sereni, tutto quello, anche quello che abbiamo letto oggi sarà disponibile in lingua italiana, con tante altre bellissime cose. Grazie ancora.
Devo vedere, scusami, se riuscivo a mostrare qualcosa del quick start,
di questo documentino.
Sì, che è molto difficile. No, il quick start, sì, dell'introduzione al giardino, vediamo.
Sì. So Rico is trying to see if he can share with you right now at the very end some pages, a couple of pages from the document that it's more or less ready. In Italian as well. Wow.
It's in Italian, yes. I wasn't ready for the English one, but yes, this is. Let me see if I can. Yeah, put a black background is probably better.
You can see the new layout, of course.
Oh. So yes, we will. There is an outside twist to our original layout, so we'll see a lot of green and you will also see a lot of natural elements that will underline
Well,
the
the
passing
tide
of the
lifting
seasons,
seasons, yes.
which
So the
are
passing
well,
of season, as we told many times before, it's a really core element of this new volume because you are on the outside. So the changing of the weather could really spark some big change on how do you do your things and what adventure you can or you cannot live.
so yeah. Thank you very much again for being here, and we'll see you next time, next week probably, with some more reveal, and to also to scroll through this introduction to the garden together once we have released it. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.